This
10,
conference will now
2024
be recorded.
meeting of the Montachusett Joint Transportation Committee. Brian will call the names of those in attendance, and all that I ask is that you state the community that you represent. Mine Bob Swartz, I'm the chair, and I represent the city of Gardner.
Thanks, Bob. Brian Doherty, Transportation Projects Director at Montachusett Regional Planning Commission. And I'll go ahead and call names from the list so we don't speak over each other. And then you could, as Bob mention who you're affiliated with. Elizabeth Faxon.
Townsend.
George Snow. George Snow.
You got a sound cut off.
Yeah.
Okay, George is with MRPC. Ryan Doherty.
Westminster.
Susan Templeton.
Yes.
Susan, I believe you're with Senator Cronin's office.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Next, I have Sarah Canamella.
Mass DOT, District 2.
Chris Clem.
Present.
And Chris is with Mass DOT Office of Transportation Planning.
Okay.
Tim Kilhart.
Harvard.
Sarah Bradbury.
MassDOT District 3.
Grace Belmont. Grace is with MRPC.
I apologize. MRPC,
Okay.
sorry, I was taking notes.
That's okay. Thank you. Amanda Reed.
Lunenburg.
Jerry Bean.
MRPC.
Tyler Godin.
MRPC.
Janet Tice.
Shirley.
And Daryl Amaron.
Mass DOT District 2.
Okay, thank you. I believe that's everyone.
Good. The reason why I want to do this, I want everyone should know who we're all working together and who they're talking to. So probably it's better than it was last month. Hope to continue it for next month and be a little better, even better. Thank you for that. Next is the approval of the June 12th, 2024 minutes. I think what I'd rather have a consensus if anyone objects. If there are no objections, then we'll approve that by consensus. I see or hear no objections, so the meeting minutes of June 12th, 2024 are approved. Thank you. Report of the nominating committee. We have a slate of officers, and I'll state what they are. Chair is Robert Swartz, representing Gardner. Vice Chair is Travis Condon from the NCMCC. Brian, can you tell me what that is?
Yeah, Travis is from the North Central Mass Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, yes, I remember now. The Secretary is Elizabeth Faxon from the town of Townsend. Are there anyone else that wants to run for any of the offices? I guess not. Can we have a vote? Let's vote for all three. All those in favor of the slate of officers as presented, state yay.
Yay.
Yay. Yay.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, Brian, we have a new slate of officers.
Got a A new slate, same as the old slate. So thank you, Bob and Travis and Beth for volunteering as officers for the
You're
group.
welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Item 5 is the FFY 2024-2028 Transportation Improvement Program, the TIP amendments number 6 and number 7. We're going to review the documents.
Okay, so I can take this. The NPO released for public comment period 2 additional amendments to the federal fiscal year 2024 through 28 TIP, which is the active TIP. The comment period is current right now up until Friday, this coming Friday, July 11th. These will be known as amendments 6 and 7 to the 24 through 28 TIP. And just as a reminder, the TIP that we just developed doesn't take place until October 1st, the beginning of the federal fiscal year. So there may be some confusion there, but we're still amending into the active TIP, in this case, federal fiscal years 24 through 28. In the handouts, there's some details about each amendment. So we have first up Amendment 6, and additional to the summaries, we have letters to interested parties. This details the process a bit. We include these with all the amendments. As I mentioned, this is Amendment 6 and 7 we've done this year, so we've seen quite a few of these. I'll go over the first one here, known as Amendment number 6. This is the highway side. Projects on 3 different federal fiscal years. The reason for the amendment was cost increases to these projects, which are currently listed. First off, in federal fiscal year 2024, which is the current year we're in, Fitchburg 608-189, which is the Water Street Bridge project over the North Nashua River and Boulder Drive in Fitchburg, sees a significant cost increase, 79% in this case, cost increase of over $14 million. That'll bring the total cost up to $33,708,368. And the reason for that is additional offsite hazmat disposal items. There were utility agreements which were not agreed upon before. They have been finalized and they're higher than anticipated. Additional clearing and grubbing related to those utility agreements and overall adjusted unit prices of all the items. The second project, which is included in this highway amendment, is federal fiscal year 2025, Leominster 604-499. This is the Route 12 project we've been discussing. We did discuss the cost increase when we were developing the 25 to 29 TIP. However, that was not reflected in the current active TIP, so we'll have to amend this price in. There'll be a cost increase of over $7 million. And that's detailed in the tables at the end of the handout here as well. Basically, this is a target project. So we've been shuffling things around when we built the 25 to 29 TIP and trying to find enough money to fund this project. It's a regional target funds. We need to be fiscally constrained. However, this project sees such a large cost increase, the state has agreed to take over the remainder in the statewide section. So we remain within fiscal constraint in federal fiscal year 2025, but we do need to amend the actual cost in the document. Again, nearly $8 million cost increase. And the reason for that is, again, additional hazmat disposal costs, retaining walls were added, bridge items and costs were added, addition of street lighting, and overall unit prices in this case for pavement milling, excavation, drainage. So this is the second project involved with this amendment. Lastly, in federal fiscal year 26, Fitchburg 609-411, which is the Twin Cities Rail Trail Phase 2 construction, we'll see a cost increase of $2.8 million, bringing the total cost to $16,808,785. And this is just because of adjusted unit prices for this project. You probably recognize a trend here. I don't believe we've ever had this many amendments with our TIP. The adjusted unit prices have really affected costs. So we've had a lot of these amendments over the last 12 months or so. But again, this is amendment number 6. So this is out for public comment right now, and the idea is to get some feedback to the NPO at their meeting next week. They'll be voting to endorse this. As I mentioned, they did agree to release it for public comment at the meeting last month. So if there's a consensus recommendation to the NPO to endorse, ultimately that's what we're looking for.
Hey, Brian, this is Chris. I just have a question before we continue.
Sure.
On the Fitchburg Twin Cities Rail Trail 609411, the cost increase is correct. It is increasing by 2.8 million, but the total cost is 27 million. The figure on the screen, 16.8 million, that's the programmed amount in fiscal year 2026. So that's where we're capturing the $2.8 million cost increase.
Okay, that's a good point, Chris. Thank you. So this is an advanced constructed project over multiple construction seasons. In federal fiscal year 26, there will be a cost increase, bringing the total cost under that line item for 2026 to 16.8 million. And as Chris mentioned, the total cost of the project is roughly 27 million. I believe this is also listed in 2025 as well. The same goes for the Leominster project. This is advanced constructed over 3 construction seasons, and the portion that is being amended is in fiscal year 25. So that's an important distinction as well.
So can I ask a question about Leominster? Why isn't there a dollar amount there, or did I miss it?
If you scroll down,
Oh, I was looking at your notes. Okay.
yeah. So and again, this is just in federal fiscal year 25. The cost of this project is roughly $29 million. This has been a main topic of discussion as we develop the upcoming TIP. There's been a number of cost increases that has been reflected in the upcoming TIP. However, the state has asked for some time to figure out how to fund the remainder in 2025. In this case, they've taken it through the statewide section. So we found funding. We just need to list this on the current document, even though it's only active for the next few months. It's already adjusted on the upcoming TIP.
Oh, thank you.
So as I mentioned, the comment period ends Friday. So there's still an opportunity to comment. Typically, we offer the JTC as a place to make an official or unofficial comment as well. If the group is comfortable with the recommendations of the NPO at that meeting next week, we would ask for a recommendation to endorse. However, there's no recommendation necessary if the group feels uncomfortable making one.
I feel comfortable recommending amendment number 6 as presented to the MPO.
George Kahale, I second.
Okay, looks like we have a motion and a second.
Consensus. Yep.
Yep, and typically we'll go consensus.
There are no negatives, and the consensus wins approval.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we're making the recommendation to the NPO to endorse at the meeting next week.
Yes.
So the second portion of this, amendment number 7, this is a little bit easier. This is on the transit side. Basically, when we created the 24 through 28 TIP, these projects were not awarded yet, so they were not listed. In this case, there's 3 community transit grant program awards made to 3 separate entities, Gamma Inc., MART, and the town of Templeton, in both federal fiscal years 2024 and 2025. We'd like to amend this project, these projects into the current TIP because they contain federal funds. We're required to carry this on our regional TIP. So this is the regional, the reason for the amendment. In the same process, we're looking for a recommendation to the NPO at the meeting next week, whether or not to endorse.
I move to accept amendment number 7.
I'll second that. And promote, ask the NPO to endorse Amendment 7.
Very good.
Okay, thank you. And thank you all for dealing with these amendments all year. I know it can be confusing. There's been a lot of cost increases, but I think we're all aware of what's been going on with prices as of late. So thank you again. We'll make the recommendation to the NPO next week.
Item number 6, contract status reports. Start with the FTA. Are they on, or will you handle that, Brian?
So I can give a quick update on this. This is, and this relates to our contract, a joint contract with FTA, Federal Highway, and Mass DOT. Basically, this is our work program. We have a line item under FTA funds. We're currently working on a transit development plan for the Fitchburg, Leominster, and Gardner bus routes. We should be on handing out surveys on the actual buses sometime in the next few weeks. So that's the update on that. We do not have anything for RTA. I don't know if George Kahali may.
Yes, Mart, they're having a public meeting tonight in Gardner at 6 o'clock from 6 to 7:15, and it's available on the web too, virtually and in person. That public meeting will be discussing the improvement to the bus routes in Gardner. We changing the routes to be more frequency and every day. We adding more frequency. Right now we have 11 loops per day for Route 1 and Route 2. We making it shorter, like route north and south, and each one will be 40 minutes or less each loop, and increasing the frequency by 60%. We have the public meeting tonight. Please, if you can, attend.
George, could you cite the place and date again?
Tonight at the City Hall in Gardner at 6 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Very good.
I do have additional updates for Mass DOT, George, if you're done. I can take that.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, so the main item we have is there's a study out for public comment up until July 25th on the Route 2 corridor. Study area starts in Lincoln and it goes into our region as far as Oak Hill Road and Fitchburg. So it's a significant undertaking from Mass DOT and their consultant, VHB. They've been working on it for a number of months. The idea is to get more of a conceptual type of plan. There's no money involved or anything for any improvements, with the focus on safety and congestion as well. So this plan is out for public comment up until the 25th. We provided a copy in the handouts. MRPC staff is in the process of reviewing this. We may or may not offer a comment. We do have an item on the agenda at the NPO meeting next week. We'll discuss it a little bit more in detail, but we've been anticipating this for several months now. Obviously, the Route 2 corridor is important for the Montachusett region. There's a number of issues with the current layout. Mass DOT has obviously has had this type of improvement on their radars for some time, and this is an opportunity to review the latest and greatest and make a public comment if you wish before the 25th. So that's just a heads up on that.
Brian, could I ask a question?
Sure.
Janet Tice from Shirley. So I believe that there were 2 or maybe 3 exits in the Shirley vicinity that were, I mean, I may not be using the right word here, but were omitted from this profile analysis because they had been addressed by an earlier project that looked at them, at those in exits specifically. Is that correct?
Maybe somebody from District 3 may be able to answer this better, but my understanding is that those particular locations are under some sort of a peer review. There may have been some designs in progress, and as it relates to this study, I believe that you know, it may be a situation like that. Not necessarily omitted, but it's a different process. I don't know.
Okay, so how would we find out about that different process so that we who live in that immediate vicinity could give input with respect to those specific exits, entrances to Route 2 corridor?
I don't have an answer to that, but I can look it up and get back to you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
And who was speaking there? I'm sorry.
Sarah Bradbury from Mass District 3.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question, just procedural? Where was the public comment call for public comment posted? Is that on the Mass DOT website or?
Yes, they have a project website dedicated to this project. That's where we became aware of it. We've been waiting for a while, and there has been some hold up a little bit the last few months. But I can send that information out if you'd like to the group. But there is a project website dedicated to this study, which you can see the study and some of the materials from the public meetings as well.
Okay, thank you.
Also in the handouts, the whole draft document is in there as well. So there should be a lot of information in there as well. So that's the updates I have for Mass DOT 3C.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7, any administrative matters? I'm not aware of any. Brian?
The one item I was going to bring up was typically around this time of year, we go every other month. It's been more difficult to do that recently because of all the amendments we've had to deal with. We want to make an opportunity to review those for the group. In the case that there is no amendments and no official business, we could recommend that we convert to the every other month schedule for the time being. And if there is something that comes up, I can certainly reach out to the group. So I didn't know if there was a consensus on what people would prefer to do.
I would like that. I don't know about anybody else, but I would.
I agree.
Okay, and obviously that we can be the conduit to you know, the group, and if there is something that comes up, as I mentioned, we haven't had a lot of opportunities to go every other month for a while because of a lot of the amendments and some of the other federal documents we've been working on. Typically, we're very heavy with that type of thing at the beginning of the calendar year, but it slows down quite a bit right now. So I could recommend the next meeting, if we do skip August, would be September 11th. Unless there is some business to take care of in August, which I'll reach out to the group if that's the case.
Sure, that's fine, Brian. I think we have the consensus to go every other meet in August.
Great. Okay, well, that's all I have under that item.
Well, we have the next meeting already settled. Is there anything else that anybody wants to bring out? It's the last shot. If not, we can consider this meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone, for
Have a
participating.
nice summer.
September, I should say.
Yeah, thank you.